All right, let's get into this week's card. It's week 6. We'll begin with the one-game Thursday night. Sam Houston State and New Mexico State. Little Conference USA action to get us going. Sam Houston State, 2.5-point road favorites, 53 the total. Obviously, Las Cruces, New Mexico is where this game is going to be played. The first thing that stands out about this matchup is you have two abominable defenses, bad defenses, both sides. Sam Houston, 127 in the country. Yards per play allowance on defense, 6.7 yards per play allowed. They don't do anything well. They don't stop the run. They give up 161.8 per game on the ground, 4.5 per carry, and 134 passing yards per game allowed for this Sam Houston secondary, which has been even worse. So they don't really do much well at all on the defensive side of the football. 41 given up to Western Kentucky, 38 to UNLV, 37 to Hawaii. And Hawaii, I believe, in that game against Sam Houston State didn't even have Alejado. They didn't. They had Luke Weaver backing up, playing quarterback Hawaii when they put 37 up on the board against Sam Houston's defense. And then 55 to Arch Manning in Texas. So it's not been, obviously, a good defensive team at all. And the offense has been, not great either, but it's certainly been better than the offense has been. Hunter Watson, obviously. It's a weird fit, right? He's not the best passer. He's a running quarterback, and trying to fit him into a system under Phil Longo that's going to throw the ball a bit more. So to say it's a work in progress would be an understatement. Meanwhile, you look at New Mexico State, and by the way, Sam Houston 0-4 straight up, 0-4 against the spread so far this season. So they have obviously not been very good for their backers, have yet to cover a point spread. Meanwhile, you've got New Mexico State coming off the in-state rivalry game against New Mexico, where it started out well for them. They took an early 7-0 lead, and they were up 17-7 at one point, and then their defense just got gashed by that very good New Mexico offense, and Jack Lane was able to have a lot of success. Meanwhile, you had Logan Fife, who, of course, used to be quarterback at Fresno State, now the quarterback with this New Mexico State team. He can be good at times, but he's always prone to that one or two mistakes, and he did have one interception. Actually had 255 passing yards. Not a bad performance, but again, no touchdown passes and one interception. You always seem to get that with him. Completion rate of 54.1%, 5 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. When you look at New Mexico State's offense, they do have the ability, and we talk about how Sam Houston's been porous against the run and the pass. This is a team in New Mexico State that has had a big-time problem running the football, just atrocious. No run game really to speak of. Everything's really come through the air for them offensively this season. Sam Houston State's, it's dead last or close to it as far as their pass defense. So New Mexico State should be able to throw it on Sam Houston State. And even though without much of a run game to speak of, again, this Aggies team just hasn't been able to run the football. They should be able to throw it on Sam Houston. So the only way I can look totals-wise is over. 52.5, 53. As far as the side goes, I'll say this right now. I know they're 0-4 straight up, 0-4 against the spread. They're a short road favorite here. It's definitely a great spot for Sam Houston State. Can't get out of their own way. They've lost 4 in a row. They have faced some tough competition, including Texas and UNLV. They have faced some pretty decent teams. Now you got a bye week, extra time to prepare, hit the reset button. It's a pretty good spot for Phil Longo's team. But I just don't know if I trust him. I don't think he's a great coach, quite honestly. I don't think he was a great hire, if you ask me. And usually on the bye week with a bad team, I want to trust the good coaches to get the team turned around. I don't know if I trust Phil Longo. So I like the spot for Sam Houston, but I just don't know if I trust them enough to bet him. I lean in their direction, the Bearcats here off the bye, but I don't know if I want to take that. I prefer the over here. C-Mac, what do you think? Sam Houston State, New Mexico State.
Yeah, how much can you put into a team like Sam Houston is bad off the bye that, I don't think can win many games this year after last year was so good and covered a ton of numbers, ton of unders too. The defense was really good. So, yeah. Well, one thing I got to say with New Mexico State, they did they gave up 2 touchdowns there late in the fourth quarter against New Mexico. We got to give a little. We talked about New Mexico, how they're playing a lot better football, this year a little bit.
I love that coach, Jason Eck. What a great hire.
Yeah, I think it was a pretty good hire too. So I think the total is low. It's a little bit different, these two teams. And New Mexico State, like you talked about, that's what I hit on, is the passing here. Our good old friend Logan Fife. I mean, he's throwing it. They're not running it a ton. And guess who's horrible? Sam Houston. These defenses are bad when you're just ripped through everything. They're all, it seems like, 110 or worse to 130. But they're giving up 321 yards to Sam Houston. I know you kind of look at maybe their strength of schedule, tougher on who they played, Texas, Hawaii, UNLV. But by laying even this short number, I couldn't do it. No, I only think there's going to be points that this could get over. You know, these are tricky sometimes, the standalone games. I talk about it all the time on Thursday. Just everything gets ramped up. And there's some good numbers that lean more to an under. So I lean there. But I think it's New Mexico State. I want them at home here. I really do. I don't think Sam Houston, with that defense, should even be off a bye, should be laying any points at all. So I'm liking New Mexico State here.
All right, liking the Aggies. Yeah, that's the thing, right? I mean, it is a good spot for Sam Houston, but at the end of the day, the defense is non-existent. They haven't covered a point spread. Are you that excited about laying 2.5 with this bunch? You know, even off the bye week, you know, that's kind of where I'm at. You know, it's not an easy, you know, decision to make to back this team right now. There's no question about that. Plus, I think there's some push and pull going on at the quarterback spot. I really think Phil Longo's itching to get, you know, either Landon Locke or Mabry Mettauer in there as the quarterback because they're the more pocket passer quarterbacks that fit this system better. Hunter Watson's a holdover from the Casey Keeler era last year, and he's more of a run quarterback, not the best, most accurate passer. And I think there's some, you know, internal debate going on if they make a quarterback change here from Watson. So
that's what I've heard too a little bit. Of course, he's the holdover, and then they're not playing well, which he's in a bad spot. The defense is horrible, but that he might be out of there at quarterback.
I'm actually surprised he didn't transfer out when Casey Keeler moved on, but I give him credit. He's a program guy. You know, he wanted to make it work here at Sam Houston State.